Hello and welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets. More Muppets, please. A Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with a series of spotlights on our favorite Muppet characters, from fan favorites to the most obscure. I am one of this week's hosts, Matthew Gaydos.
And I'm the other host, Sam Schultz.
And the Muppet of the week this week is Splurge, performed by Frank Oz and designed by Jim Henson, making his world debut-ish in 1965. I say ish because that was for a pilot that almost no one has seen, just called Cinderella, that would eventually turn into the Hey Cinderella special in 1969. So most people probably saw Splurge for the first time on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1966. But, I've just listed almost the majority of Splurge's entire oeuvre. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I feel like we should probably rewind and tell people who we are, because if they're, just Tough Pigs fans, Tough Pigs listeners, they're like, hey, where's Jared? Where's Joe? Where's Becca? These voices are unfamiliar to me. So, Sam, how about you tell the people who we are and what we are normally doing?
Well, Matt, I'm glad you asked. We're the co-hosts of the podcast Kermitment, a show where two friends have made the most intimate and unbreakable pledge two people can make: to watch every single piece of Muppet-related media they possibly can in chronological order. So basically, every week, starting at the very beginning of Jim's career in 1955, is that right, Matt?
Yeah, sounds right.
We have watched every publicly available piece of Muppet content that we can scrounge off the internet or get sent by people, or we can find on streaming services. Like I said, we started in 1955. Now we're just breaking into 1990. So we've covered a huge bulk of Jim's career. We've watched The Muppet Show. We've watched Fraggle Rock. We're watching Muppet Babies currently. And we talk about it for way too long. And have a little fun. We learned something along the way too, don't we, Matt?
I mean, yeah, we learned that Splurge existed.
That's
This
right.
was one of the things that early on we learned.
Did you know did you have any clue he existed before this?
No. The last time Splurge really appeared on our television screens was 1969. So, most people don't know who Splurge is.
The only way you'd really know who he is from Hey Cinderella, which is like on DVD and stuff, right? So you
At least VHS. I think people in the 90s
watch
definitely had that on VHS. But yeah, as far as Splurge's appearances go, he was created for the first Cinderella pilot they made in 1965. This is something that I believe you can watch at the Paley Center. But again, I have not seen it. Many people have not seen it. I think some clips have been shared at the Museum of the Moving Image during different presentations, but I have no idea what Splurge does in that, if it's just basically the same role he has in Hey Cinderella. But, maybe one day we'll get to watch that. But for now, we have watched all publicly available appearances of Splurge, which after the Cinderella pilot, they kept him around for a little while, using him for a brief cameo in a LaChoy Dragon presentation reel, as well as a small appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1966. He showed up in the Muppets on Puppets special in 1968, and then in 1969 would show up on a season 1 episode of Sesame Street, as well as in his starring role in the special Hey Cinderella. There's a surprising amount of things to note about Splurge, mostly because of the era he was created in. But Splurge was the first full-body Muppet.
Wow.
Which now I feel like we take for granted because there's so many of them running around with Sweetums and Thog and all of them. But it all started somewhere, and it started with a Splurge.
And you know what? I think he's got something. I think he's a worthy progenitor of all of these characters, and I think there's a little bit about all of them that maybe you can pull out of Splurge and trace his lineage, because he's kind of like, he's a little Thog shaped, he's kind of a little Sweetums eyed, all the big guys are accounted for in one proto monster.
Without Splurge, there is no Sweetums.
It's like they cut apart the Greek gods or something, cut one of the Titans apart, and they were like made out of pieces of him.
We're not a history podcast, Sam. Neither Kermitment nor Tough Pigs is myth in history.
Kermit struck Splurge down and created all the rest of the big Muppets from his body.
There's something there, because I think it's, think of Sweetums being like Jack not name, Jack job. And that's kind of exactly who Splurge is in
Yeah.
Hey Cinderella, where basically half his lines are radish
Mm-hmm.
or everyone was invited except Frog. And you're like,
Great
yeah.
Splurge impression. The only person to do a Splurge impression of in all time.
Yeah, we tried to get Frank Oz on here to talk about Splurge, and he said who and hung up on us. But Splurge is, I don't know, early on, I think we fell in love with Splurge on this podcast. We first talked about him in episode 8 back in 2021 of Kermitment. And so I think he was a surprise early on when we weren't necessarily ready to be surprised, because we were like, okay, yeah, we get like Wilkins and Wonkins. We understand Kermit. What's going on here? Who's this fella?
Imagine people back in the 60s seeing this guy.
Yeah.
They probably thought he was real.
They were like, we must kill the Splurge.
The people in the audience when he runs, what show is that? He runs out into the audience.
The Ed Sullivan Show, yeah.
Those people seem actually a little scared of him, maybe. I think
if he fell down, he would hurt you.
Yeah, and he does not look stable. I don't know how you go downstairs in that thing. Like, I assume must have happened to get off the stage.
Maybe they built a special Splurge ramp for him.
Oh, that could be. But they tried to make the world fall in love with Splurge, too, if I remember correctly. Was there not merchandise and recipes and stuff that was Splurge-themed?
Yeah, there was an early Hawaiian Punch hand puppet that was released around the same time as Hey Cinderella. But it does seem, not only from the merchandise and sort of the public photography, I guess, of Splurge, but just the way Splurge is even treated in the Hey Cinderella special, that it feels like Splurge was meant for greater things.
People are going to love this guy. That's what they were saying, yeah.
Like, he is this giant, lovable, furry monster in an era where they did not yet have that. Like, Big Bird didn't exist when Splurge was created.
Well, I wonder what precipitated them not using him as much anymore. Because like, I don't know, his appearance in Sesame Street was kind of striking to me because he has different eyes there.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy who'd still be on Sesame Street to me in some ways, I think. There's a lot of Muppets, especially from this era, obviously, that are like clearly recreated from Jim Henson sketches that were like 4 lines total. And he's just like so perfect in that way that a lot of those guys were. Like Cookie Monster. He kind of, maybe Cookie Monster and him are a little too similar for them to coexist in the same universe or something. But I just don't know why you'd throw aside Splurge in favor of Thog.
Yeah, there's something I think maybe limiting about Splurge as a character. Like, in Hey Cinderella, we just see him say radish over and over. And I think a lot of Splurge's appeal is that he's big and shocking. But they didn't give him much of a character beyond that. And that's not to say that they did that with a lot of other characters like Dog Lion or Timmy Monster or whatever. Like, had their moments to shine in the Muppet Show. But I think Splurge could have gotten there as well. I don't know. Personally, I will say they ruined Splurge by making him cuter when they put him on Sesame Street. And I think I think the moment you change his eyes like that, you're saying that he could be anything. He could be any character. He's just a background lump of a monster.
Yeah.
And then he vanishes. So, I think he lives on through characters like Mean Gene / Behemoth.
Oh, yeah, he really does, doesn't he?
The Sesame Street eyes especially share a lot of DNA with that. But, even his eyes, those are Oscar the Grouch eyes.
Yeah,
those original Splurge eyes and unibrow. Like, he's just a giant grouch.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow. He really is. You're right. He could be Oscar's uncle.
But weirdly, for those that don't know, Splurge did try to make a comeback at some point. In the 90s, in 1998 to be specific, the Jim Henson Company created Jim Henson's Scary, Scary Monsters, which was a line of children's books inspired by Jim's monster sketches. Beyond all reasoning, Splurge was the only existing character to be brought along into that line of books.
That's crazy. I didn't know about this.
Well, we talked about it 5 years ago, I think, on our podcast.
Okay. I used to know about this.
Yes, you used to know once for about 10 minutes when I told you previously. But yes, they made this series of books that included Splurge, and Sam's least favorite kind of character is a big baby who doesn't know anything, who's dumb.
Baby.
And that's exactly what they did to our boy Splurge,
no,
unfortunately.
Well, I guess he's pretty big and dumb. But
his description on the back of the book literally says, Splurge is like a big, big baby. He's scared of mostly everything except butterflies.
Ugh, I hate that. Okay.
The fact that they said big, big baby.
2 bigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not what I want. Splurge is also, he's a bit of a grimace, isn't he?
We did discuss this as well when we first discussed Splurge on our podcast. Not only because, yeah, that dude looks just like Grimace, but also this guy predates Grimace.
A real clear, that's where they got the idea, I would say.
It'd be a weird coincidence if the McDonald's Corporation decided 2 years after Splurge exists, what if we just made a big purple guy?
But also, Grimace doesn't fit in at all with the other McDonald's characters. They're all very clearly based on something, and he's just a big purple guy.
Well, especially first Grimace.
Yeah.
The four-armed, creepy Grimace.
Yes, the evil Grimace.
Evil Grimace.
As he was literally called. They didn't stop using Splurge because Grimace started existing, right? He had been retired previous to that.
I mean, I don't know if they had a raising his jersey to the rafters moment for Splurge, but the last time we saw Splurge was 1969 on Sesame Street. So it was 2 years after that Grimace made his appearance. So, is it more likely that the two are not related at all? Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
But Splurge is one of those puppets that I think I don't know, I just love as a puppet. I love him as a very simple character, and I wish I could make the journey down to the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta to take a look at him.
Well, we should. What's stopping us?
Time.
Work. You have a baby.
We're adults to do things.
Yeah, that's stupid. That sucks.
I think it's interesting, though, that Splurge is on display down there. A couple things. He has nice little, shiny, glittery eyes. He has, a little gemstone on his eyeballs.
Oh,
which
beautiful.
is, I guess, probably just to catch the light.
Yeah, give him a little life.
But also, it's the original Splurge puppet with his Oscar the Grouch eyes. It's not Sesame Street Splurge. So either there's two Splurge puppets out there in the world, or they changed Splurge back when they decided to put him on display.
Yeah, I wonder is it just as simple as popping eyes off and popping eyes back on? It kind of looks like it might be.
But I also think the Splurge that we see, if you look on Muppet Wiki, the one that looks really Oscar the Grouch-y, is different from the original Hey Cinderella Splurge as well. So there's been a few different Splurge eyes, I was going to say through the years, through the 5 years that he got to exist.
I think one thing that really struck me that I didn't quite remember is the relationship between Kermit and Splurge. I really enjoyed was big guy, little guy, they're best friends in this.
Kermit literally says, if I don't work with Splurge, I don't work with nobody.
Yeah, in Hey Cinderella, he says that, yeah.
And it's wow. Sorry, Splurge, but you did get left behind eventually.
Yeah, where's
Kermit
that
decided...
attitude now? Kermit did pull the ladder up eventually.
It's wild to go back and watch Hey Cinderella because Kermit is just a different character. I like this Kermit a lot from the late 60s, but before Kermit gets onto Sesame Street, this is a much cooler Kermit, a much less caring Kermit. He's just kind of I can help, I guess, but if not, I'm going to go over here and hang by my well.
I'm just going to swim around. I'm a frog.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. What do you expect from me?
This is a frog with no responsibilities. He has not had a Muppet show yet. He is not a reporter. This is just a frog.
He could go down to the Center for Puppetry Arts whenever he wanted to.
That's how he goes and visits his friend Splurge.
Yeah.
Oh, I just pictured a really sad Kirk and Spock moment with the glass where Splurge is in the museum.
I will always be your friend.
Radish.
Oh, poor Kermit. He needs to loosen up a little bit these days.
Well, and the way Kermit calls in Splurge as his muscle in Hey Cinderella, I think is such a nice thing for Kermit to have, because oftentimes he is this weakling who can't fight off the bullies and who is scrawny. So for him to have a guy that he could call in, that I guess now would probably be Animal, maybe, that he would call in.
It would be Miss Piggy sometimes.
True.
When she's not beating him up, she's beating people up for him. Yeah, a lot of stuff on the Muppet Show would have gone really differently if he could have been why don't you run it by Splurge first?
Hey, Kermit, my uncle says you have to hire me. Oh, really? Tell that to Splurge.
Yeah, I got a guy who literally will kill your uncle. Go back and tell your uncle that.
Yeah.
And it's legal for Muppets to kill each other, so.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a need for, pops at the door either. We got a bouncer like Splurge.
Yeah. That would be kind of awesome, actually. Bring him back. I think they need to bring him back.
He's also so big.
Yeah. Well, is he? Yeah, he's pretty big. He's not rebuilt Thog big.
No, nothing's rebuilt Thog big.
Nothing in the whole world, I don't think, is rebuilt Thog big. But he does look pretty tall. He would look fetching walking through, dancing with the monsters at the beginning of the Muppet Show instead of like Timmy Monster or whoever is there.
Yeah, I think Timmy Monster is really the weak link there.
He's a bad monster. I don't like Timmy Monster.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about Timmy Monster. That's somebody else's job.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Splurge, our favorite Muppet.
He's one of them. I wonder how many stars we gave him back when we used to do that.
Yeah. I will say he didn't make it as far as I thought he did on our Muppet Madness bracket that we did a little while ago. He lost to Marvin Suggs in the second round.
That doesn't surprise me. Marvin Suggs is pretty good. Marvin Suggs had more time to stretch his legs and also had a few skits where I was like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, he also made it to the actual 70 Years, 70 Muppets celebration.
Yeah, so that does tell you that we made the right decision, I think.
Yeah. History's on our side.
Was he in our death match?
Oh, yeah. We also did the death match version of our bracket, which was which Muppets could kill the other Muppets. Splurge took out the Kuzbanians in the first round.
Yeah.
Took out Gladys, the lunch lady, in the second round.
Sure.
Took out New Zealand in the third round.
Wow.
And lost to Big V in the next round.
Oh, Big V's terrifying. Big V genuinely kind of scares me.
Yeah, Big V gets a little cameo in Hey Cinderella, which I forgot about until rewatching it for this. But they're both in line getting punch at one point, and the king's like, "Remind me next year to make the invitations more selective."
Little did they know they'd be killing each other several decades later.
And as far as I can tell, the last time anyone has really seen Splurge outside of a glass case at the Center for Puppetry Arts is as a shoelace muncher toy available at KFC in 1999.
What the?
I have to bleep that now, Sam.
Sorry. That's such a weird fate for him, though.
Yeah. This was around the time of those Scary, Scary Monster books.
What a long, strange trip it's been for old Splurge.
He also has a book about him becoming friends with a blue fuzzy slipper. So, there's some more Splurge content out there that we have yet to get to. But for now, I think we'll leave it at just enjoying his on-screen appearances.
And on shoe.
It is a little weird that his last couple things are being on a shoe and becoming friends with a shoe.
Well, you're right. He's kind of the shoe guy now. That's kind of his thing.
Splurge is into feet.
Yeah, in like 50 years, somebody will be doing what we're doing right now, and they will have listened to our thing, and it will be like a copy of a copy, and they'll say, Splurge is a big purple guy. He loves feet so much.
If you're taking one thing from this episode of this podcast this week,
Splurge loves feet.
He's a feet guy.
Tell everybody you know.
Hashtag Splurge feet.
70 Years, 70 Muppets, More Muppets Please is a Muppet fan podcast presented by ToughPigs.com. Hosted by a myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Joe Hennis. The Muppets 70 logo is used with permission by the Muppet Studio, with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reifschneider, and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow ToughPigs.com on all social media platforms, and you can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or by buying merchandise at tpublic.com/toughpigs.